Yes. Now, President Ramaphosa mentioned already that he seems ready to laugh, and I love that joke about the football. Um, was there any opportunity for both people, both these heads of states, really, to talk privately in a state visit, or is everything that you see everything that there is, or is behind the scenes? There's a lot of things going on.
Oh, a lot of things, a lot of informal discussions, things that are literally off the record, but they are laying foundations for the new relationship of equal partnership. This is one thing I love about what President Cyril Ramaphosa said, is equal partnership now, unlike the pre-colonial era or the colonial era where we had the master and the slave. This time it was two equal partners looking at ways of possible mutual, a win-win situation. What South Africa brings to the table is a dynamic, youthful population. What Britain brings to the table is an experienced, very experienced, established protocol for research, for education. So you can see that South Africa needs Britain as much as Britain needs the youth, the dynamism of the Africans.
Well, interesting. Thank you very much, Professor. Now, Britain hopes the visit, which had been planned before the death of Queen Elizabeth in September, will strengthen trade and investment ties between the two nations and show the importance of links with the Commonwealth of Nations, the international organization that Charles actually now leads. Professor Chris, what is the role of the Commonwealth, do you think, of the Commonwealth of Nations? And do you think King Charles would have brought this up at all?
Oh yeah, he did. He made a formal. Somebody said an apology. Others said a near apology about some ugly parts regarding the empire, which now metamorphosed to become the Commonwealth, because the English-speaking nation shares a lot of commonalities: the rule of law, the educational system. If you look at even the scientific developments, the bond by language, because you see that most of the Commonwealth countries still spell color with a C-O-L-O-U-R, unlike the C-O-L-O-R of the Americans. So that unity, that linguistic unity, confers massive opportunity on English-speaking countries, whether they are island nations or they are big African nations. Why? Because in order to do business, in order to transact anything, we have a common language. And that commonality allows our youths to be able to migrate to any part of the Commonwealth and use their talent or express their genius. That's something that Her late Majesty the Queen really campaigned for. There's the annual scholarship program that gets used from the Commonwealth to study in any other part of the Commonwealth for free. There is the exchange program for professors, from whether you're in Canada or you are in Ghana, it doesn't matter. You move from one place to the other and spend 6 months, a year without payment. There's exchange program for scholars, for librarians, I'm just looking at education just to start off with. So let alone economics. So there's so much we can do together because there's so much that unites us. But the lines have to be drawn and the new template for collaboration has to be refined.
So interesting. So you see a certain definite exchange of ideas and people between all the members of the Commonwealth. Now, during the visit to the Royal Botanical Gardens, the President received a gift from a South African scientist, and Ramaphosa said, "So you're from home," you should have said, which was met with quite a lot of laughter from the crowd. Now, this President, as I've said, always seems to want to laugh and smile. Professor Chris, you also attended that particular gathering with the HOH Prince Edward there, Earl of Wessex, head of the world-renowned Kew Gardens, with President Cyril Ramaphosa, as well as very senior ministers and secretaries of state from both Britain and Africa during that state visit. What was the reason for this high-level meeting inside Kew Gardens?
Fantastic, because this time I came out frontline. I was frontline in terms of activities here, because you will never know the ecology of South Africa and how many seeds, listen to this, came from South Africa 200 years ago in the heart of England, literally London, in Richmond, Kew's Garden. The national tree, the national flower, right there. If you got a time, please spend time, come to the Kew Garden and see for yourself. It's called the exotic section. Christian, which essentially means they were taken from Africa. And the seeds and the pollination, the entire life cycle of the plant is still preserved. It shows the wonders of the Almighty. The divine creation, when he literally created the Garden of Eden, had something in mind that beautifies all of us. Just walking in the garden, seeing flowers, seeing butterflies of different colors, tells us that nature is not accidental. This is a planned garden for all of us to enjoy, listen, and then preserve for the next generation. That's the last part of it. We must make sure that what we've enjoyed in this generation, we are able to preserve it so that generations unborn come and see these flowers, come and see these plants, and are able to benefit from the medicinal, herbal, recreational value of the garden. So I enjoyed it. I probably was of the last few people to leave the garden. Because the secretary was saying, oh, I used to go. So I so enjoyed it that I didn't go for the next meeting immediately, which was supposed to be at the Creek Institute after the visit to Kew Garden. A beautiful place, Royal Botanical Garden.
I mean, it seems you had the opportunity there just to mingle freely with the president of South Africa. It's quite remarkable just to see him walking around the garden. I suppose the garden was closed to the public for the visit, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was delayed opening on that day, and the main gate, the gate that we came in through, was also different from others. But we wanted to recreate a natural environment so that you can literally play like a little kid plays in a candy shop, see the different flowers, see the palm trees, see literally Africa recreated in the middle of a very winter and cold and wet London.
Yeah. But they do such a great job, don't they, of conservation around the world. They've got lots of plants there, which, you know, they were taken from various parts of the world, but at least it's preserved. They're preserved now, and they look after them, don't they, very well, as far as I understand. Yeah,
they try to simulate both the temperature and the weather conditions where those seeds will blossom to the fullest. And it's on a serious note, every single nation on the planet Earth need to know that is a divine responsibility to look after that which was created for us.